Hey, college wrestling fans, it's JT1Wrestle here, and thus far we have talked about NCAA Division III 2025-2026, the best wrestle-offs at 125 pounds and 133 pounds. Now we're going to look at 141 pounds and 149 pounds in the D3 Nation. What are our best wrestle-offs? I will be really honest with you, be very candid here. Nothing really stuck out to me at 141 pounds, but by George, did some great wrestle offs stick out to me at 149 pounds. And the first one I'm going to talk about is going to be a triple threat at Augsburg up there in Minneapolis, Minnesota, between Matt Randolph, Lucas Jagodzinski, and Carson Casper. Matt Randolph, what a phenomenal season that this young man had last year. 31-4 on the season, winning titles at Regional 7 and the North Central Invitational, finishing fourth in the D3 Nation. Do I think he's going to lose his Do I think he's going to lose these wrestle offs? Do I think he's going to lose his varsity spot? No, I don't. But the reason I bring up Lucas Jagodzinski is because he was 22-6 last year, was the runner-up at the North Central Invitational, and took third at the Cliff Keen Mike Duro Invitational. And then Carson Casper had a very impressive 5-0 win over qualifier Aiden Ruddy. I want college wrestling fans to have the understanding that NCAA Division III wrestling, while it may not be NCAA Division I, you still have a extremely tough, talented, skilled level of wrestling here. And it goes to show just how good you have to be to even make a varsity lineup when a guy like Matt Randolph has to go through guys like Lucas Jagodzinski and Carson Casper. For the record, real quick, before we move on to the next great wrestle off at 149 pounds, Randolph does own a 10-1 major decision as well as a 5-2 decision over Jagodzinski. Next, we're going to move on to the University of Wisconsin lacrosse. Going to be a great wrestle off between Josh Churba and Joe Pinchy. Pinchy last year went 10-1 on the season. Josh Churba, here's a guy that, the situation with him last year really breaks my heart. The Eagles last year qualified 9 to the NCAA Division III championships, and they were this close to qualifying all 10 of their varsity wrestlers. And Josh Churba, man, just it breaks my heart just to talk about it. Finished fourth, which is, as we all know, in NCAA Division III and NCAA Division II, is that one place you don't want to finish because you're one match away from being an NCAA Division III qualifier. But with that said, I think that's going to light a fire underneath his butt, and I think we're going to see him wrestle extremely well this year. And he showed us what he's capable of last year. Runner up at Wisconsin Intercollegiate Conference, and he was also fifth at the prestigious Pete Wilson Invitational. But before we start thinking about him and what he's capable of this year, qualifier, All American, so on and so forth, the first thing he has to do is get past Joe Pinchy in the wrestle off. Next, we're going to look at Messiah. Got a great wrestle off here, I believe, between Dalton Monger and Levi Snyder. Monger last year won 28 matches, Snyder won 25 matches. Monger was fifth at Regional 3, and he also heads into 25-26, a two-time Pete Wilson Invitational place winner, placing fifth in 2024, and then he was third last year. Levi Snyder was the Rasich Rumble runner up last year, and these two have met officially on 3 occasions. Snyder owns an 8-0 major decision as well as a 7-1 decision, and then Monger owns an 8-2 decision. Next, we're going to go over to Stevens Tech over in New Jersey, and we're going to look at a wrestle off between Carmen Cortese and Tyler Rowe. Rowe last year won 24 matches and had a very impressive 14-10 decision over qualifier Aiden Ruddy, and Cortese was the Middle Atlantic Conference runner-up last year and also took fifth at Regional 2. So I think that's going to be a good wrestle-off there at 149 pounds to see who will be the varsity starter for the Ducks. And then last but not least, at 149 pounds, Going to take a look at Mount Union and a wrestle off between Josh Carmen and Nick Nettleton. Carmen last year was fifth at Regional 4. He actually had a win over NCAA Division III qualifier Evan Lindner. And then Nettleton has been in the past, although he was one match away from placing last year. In 2023, he got third at Pete Wilson, and in 2024, he got fifth. So those are the wrestle offs I think will be best in NCAA Division III at 149 pounds. And next, we're going to take a look at 157 and 165 pounds, the best wrestle offs 2025 2026 NCAA Division III.